Hey Mama, it's Jocelyn, and welcome to the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. It is a new year, and sometimes with a new year we think of new things, but surprisingly, I'm going to suggest that you do less. Let's jump into the episode so I can explain what I mean. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life, and I can help you. Thanks for joining. Culturally in America and where I'm from, it is often emphasized to think about goal setting at the new year. How you want this new year to be different. It's blank. What do you want to be written on it through goals that you accomplish? And there have been many years that I have done this, that I have thought about goals that I want to do or I would like to accomplish. And I'm not telling you not to set goals, because I do believe goals can help us to try and be better, to be better people, and to propel us forward in growth and development, which can be very powerful. But during pregnancy, I want you to actually do less, to take it easy. So there are going to be 3 things that I'm going to suggest for you to do less. I guess in ways these could be considered like goals, but they're actually making your life easier instead of adding something. Often with goals, you have to do something to make that goal happen. It takes some physical and mental effort to make those goals happen. With these, they are going to take a little bit of effort, but it's actually going to benefit you in the long run to do less of these things. So the first thing that I want you to encourage you to do less of is less social media. I know that during pregnancy, it can seem like telling you to do less social media would be impossible, because you're probably actually sitting on the couch more. You're probably lying in your bed more, and you don't know how you're going to get by with less social media. But that social media is not helping you during your pregnancy. It is actually dragging you down, causing you to compare yourself to others' successes, where you might just be kind of in survival mode, sitting in your house on your couch or on your bed, on the floor, and feeling like you are not accomplishing anything. So do less scrolling on social media. This January, I'm actually going to do a social media fast. I am going to not scroll. I may still post on some of my pages because I want to continue adding value that way, but I will only allow myself to do that on my computer, and I will do my very best to not scroll while I do those things. I always get trapped around Christmas time, especially in the junk of social media. And as I was listening to a different podcast today, she talked about doing a 30-day tech fast. And I'm not doing a complete tech fast, but I am going to do a social media fast. Anyway, I will link her podcast in the show notes. It's the Thriving in Motherhood podcast, and her latest podcast on tech. But all that to say, she reminded me how every Christmas I kind of get in the comparison trap. I have friends that go on trips instead of do gifts for Christmas, and I just start comparing and almost getting jealous of the things that they are doing with their kids and the things I'm not doing, and it can feel very heavy. I get stuck in the comparison trap. So I also am going to do less social media. And I did do a social media fast during pregnancy. I even did an episode on this. I will see if I can find it easily and quickly. And I will also try to put that one in the show notes. where it seemed impossible, it actually helped my mental status so much to do a social media fast. So if I can do it during pregnancy, I know you can as well. That brings me to my next tip of doing less, and that is less comparing. Now, naturally, if you're not on social media, you will have less to compare yourself to because you won't know what your friends, colleagues, and peers are up to. So you will naturally do a little less comparing, but I want you to do even further. I want you to do less comparing to your family members, less comparing to the friends that you do interact with, and just overall compare yourself to other people less. Comparison is the thief of joy. That is a quote that I don't know who said it, but it is top of the mind lately for me because as you compare, oftentimes you feel worse about yourself, or sometimes you can even put other people down to make yourself feel better. It overall just is not a good thing. So do less comparing. And the first tip will help you with that. If you are going to compare yourself to yourself and your progress to yourself. Even don't compare yourself to your progenitors. I have heard of women who feel less than because they can't do what their grandmothers have done or their mothers have done. And they just feel that it is, that they're not a good woman because they can't seem to reach the potential that their mom and their grandmother did. There's actually a lot of different ways we could dissect that. But most of all, what I want to tell you for this episode is to compare yourself to yourself. You are not your mom. You are not your grandmother. And you are living in different times than your mom and your grandmother did. And you have different challenges with pregnancy and with life overall. Things are so different than it was for them. And it's not fair for your mental state to compare yourself to them. So do your best to not compare yourself to them and only compare yourself to yourself. Pregnancy can be a really tough season. It can try you in all the ways to where you just feel that you are not doing good enough, and comparing is only going to add to that negativity. So do your best to do less comparing. And the last thing that I want to encourage you to do less of in this episode is less negative thinking. I have had a lot of negative thinking lately, and I'm not even pregnant. Naturally, as humans, we just tend to think negative for some reason. I think that's kind of one of the goals in life is to learn how to think more positively. We got sick after Christmas, and my baby, who is 8 months, also got sick, and it turned my generally fairly happy baby into a nightmare, to say the least. He has been so upset. He hasn't been sleeping good. He hasn't been eating good. He's been fussy all day, and it has just got me in a negative cycle. And I have been thinking about how difficult and how hard things are and how frustrated I am and how much I'm lacking sleep and how that makes me irritable. And you kind of get how this cycle has kept going and how I keep thinking these negative thoughts and how I keep getting frustrated, but it also keeps myself stuck. As you do this in pregnancy, it will keep yourself stuck too, as you think how hard it is to expand and to grow and to feel your belly getting bigger. As you think about how awful and hard that nausea phase is and how it's unfair and how you are lonely and you're sick. As you think of how uncomfortable and how tired and irritable and how emotional you are during pregnancy. If you amplify those negative thoughts, they are going to come more and they're going to come faster, and you are going to feel even worse about yourself and worse about pregnancy. But that is not what we want. We don't want to feed that negativity. We want to have less of it. So I encourage you to find the miracles in pregnancy. Even though there are so many hard negatives, there are a lot of amazing and powerful positives. Your body is growing another human, and it is doing it without you telling it to. The things that your body goes through to create this little human are so incredible. Even though it feels like there's a lot to not be grateful for, there really is a lot to be grateful for. Do you have food to eat and a variety of food to choose from? Do you have shelter, somewhere to keep you warm from the winter? Think of things to be grateful for and do less negative thinking. It will shift your mindset and things will start feeling better as you amplify the positives. Unfortunately, I did spend and have spent a few days in my negative rut with the baby being really upset. And it took me a while to realize that I am the one who is in charge, and I can shift those thoughts and find the good in each day. There is good. Yesterday, the baby was still very upset. He wouldn't nurse good. Yesterday was actually an awful day, but I will probably maybe share that more in the future, maybe not, I don't know. Nonetheless, everything that could go wrong in that day did go wrong, and the baby wasn't nursing good. We got to about 4 o'clock, and I had already cried multiple times. I was at my wit's end. My breasts were full of milk because the baby wouldn't nurse. And my sweet little 6-year-old said, "Mom, I'll take the baby so you can go pump." And that day was so hard. But just having her offer to hold the baby or play with him while I took 10 minutes to pump was so gratifying. I felt so grateful. There can be things in your day that you can find to be so grateful for that almost bring you to tears. Like this one has brought me to tears. Such power in finding gratitude instead of focusing on the negative. So there were 3 things that I want you to do less of this year. I want you to do less social media. Even do a social media fast to get you started. Do less comparing and have less negative thinking. Take it easy, mama. Give yourself grace this year. Your body and your mind need you to take it easy, to have less negative thinking. If you need more help in the positive thinking area, I have a mini course. It is called the Morning Sickness Mini Course for Mental Health. There are 44 videos in this course. They are 2 to 8 minutes long, and they encourage you to find positivity, to shift away from these negative thoughts that bury us and keep us down and thinking how awful pregnancy is, and help us to find the positive thoughts. It is for women who struggle with pregnancy but desire to have a strong mental health. It is titled for the morning sickness phase, but these videos encompass all of pregnancy. They encompass the growing big belly and some of the things you might deal with that, some of the end of pregnancy. It's titled for the morning sickness phase because that is when I needed these videos the most, was the morning sickness phase. So it is pregnancy specific, and it will help you get out of mental misery during pregnancy. It is usually the top link in the show notes, but I'm going to link a couple other episodes today, so it'll be like the 3rd link in the show notes. But it's called the Morning Sickness Mini Course for Mental Health. I encourage you to look into that if you need extra help. It is worth it to take care of your mind because it helps you to be a happier woman, which can help your pregnancy to go better and also be happier. There is a lot of research on positive psychology, and it works. It works because I have tried it, and I have only been able to have 5 babies because of it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for applying. Thank you for doing your best, and also try to do less. Until next time. Oh, I was going to end it there, but I have wanted to mention the last couple episodes that these podcasts are now available on YouTube. So if you like to find things and listen to them on YouTube, I have the audios on YouTube now. I will also put that link in the show notes. So some exciting developments there, and we will visit again next week. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.